It's day 99 of our Bible reading plan, and we're reading Numbers chapter 6, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, Ecclesiastes chapter 4, Matthew chapter 1, verse 1 to verse 17, 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 16 to verse 33, and Psalms chapter 99. We're reading from the Berean Standard Bible. Numbers chapter 6. And the Lord said to Moses, Speak to the Israelites and tell them that if a man or woman makes a special vow, the vow of a Nazirite, to separate himself to the Lord, he is to abstain from wine and strong drink. He must not drink vinegar made from wine or strong drink, and he must not drink any grape juice or eat fresh grapes or raisins all the days of his separation. He is not to eat anything that comes from the grapevine, not even the seeds or skins. For the entire period of his vow of separation, no razor shall pass over his head. He must be holy until the time of his separation to the Lord is complete. He must let the hair of his head grow long throughout the days of his separation to the Lord. He must not go near a dead body, even if his father or mother or brother or sister should die. He is not to defile himself, because the crown of consecration to his God is upon his head. Throughout the time of his separation, he is holy to the Lord. If someone suddenly dies in his presence and defiles his consecrated head of hair, he must shave his head on the day of his cleansing, the seventh day. On the eighth day, he must bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons to the priest at the entrance to the tent of meeting, and the priest is to offer one as a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering to make atonement for him, because he has sinned by being in the presence of the dead body. On that day, he must consecrate his head again. He must rededicate his time of separation to the Lord and bring a year-old male lamb as a guilt offering. But the preceding days shall not be counted, because his separation was defiled. Now, this is the law of the Nazarite when his time of separation is complete. He must be brought to the entrance to the tent of meeting, and he is to present an offering to the Lord of an unblemished year-old male lamb as a burnt offering, an unblemished year-old female lamb as a sin offering, and an unblemished ram as a peace offering, together with their grain offerings and drink offerings, and a basket of unleavened cakes made from fine flour mixed with oil, and unleavened wafers coated with oil. The priest is to present all these before the Lord and make the sin offering and the burnt offering. He shall also offer the ram as a peace offering to the Lord, along with the basket of unleavened bread, and the priest is to offer the accompanying grain offering and drink offering. Then, at the entrance to the tent of meeting, the Nazarite is to shave his consecrated head, take the hair, and put it on the fire under the peace offering. And the priest is to take the bald shoulder from the ram, one unleavened cake from the basket, and one unleavened wafer, and put them into the hands of the Nazarite who has just shaved his hair of consecration. The priest shall then wave them as a wave offering before the Lord. This is a holy portion for the priest, in addition to the breast of the wave offering and the thigh that was presented. After that, the Nazarite may drink wine. This is the law of the Nazarite who vows his offering to the Lord for his separation. In addition to whatever else he can afford, he must fulfill whatever vow he makes according to the law of his separation. Then the Lord said to Moses, Tell Aaron and his sons, this is how you are to bless the Israelites. Say to them, May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance toward you and give you peace. So they shall put my name on the Israelites, and I will bless them. Ecclesiastes chapter 3. To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to count as lost, a time to keep and a time to discard, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. What does the worker gain from his toil? I have seen the burden that God has laid upon the sons of men to occupy them. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the hearts of men, yet they cannot fathom the work that God has done from beginning to end. I know that there is nothing better for them than to rejoice and do good while they live, and also that every man should eat and drink and find satisfaction in all his labor. This is the gift of God. I know that everything God does endures forever. Nothing can be added to it or taken from it. God does it so that they would fear him. What exists has already been, and what will be has already been, for God will call to account what has passed. Furthermore, I saw under the sun that in the place of judgment there is wickedness, and in the place of righteousness there is wickedness. I said in my heart, God will judge the righteous and the wicked, since there is a time for every activity and every deed. I said to myself, as for the sons of men, God tests them so that they may see for themselves that they are but beasts. For the fates of both men and beasts are the same. As one dies, so dies the other. They all have the same breath. Man has no advantage over the animals, since everything is futile. All go to one place. All come from dust, and all return to dust. Who knows if the spirit of man rises upward and the spirit of the animal descends into the earth? I have seen that there is nothing better for a man than to enjoy his work, because that is his lot. For who can bring him to see what will come after him? Ecclesiastes chapter 4. Again, I looked and I considered all the oppression taking place under the sun. I saw the tears of the oppressed, and they had no comforter. The power lay in the hands of their oppressors, and there was no comforter. So I admired the dead who had already died above the living who are still alive. But better than both is he who has not yet existed, who has not seen the evil that is done under the sun. I saw that all labor and success spring from a man's envy of his neighbor. This too is futile and a pursuit of the wind. The fool folds his hands and consumes his own flesh. Better one handful with tranquility than two handfuls with toil and pursuit of the wind. Again, I saw futility under the sun. There is a man all alone, without even a son or brother, and though there is no end to his labor, his eyes are still not content with his wealth. For whom do I toil and bereave my soul of enjoyment? This too is futile, a miserable task. Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. For if one falls down, his companion can lift him up, but pity the one who falls without another to help him up. Again, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And though one may be overpowered, two can resist. Moreover, a cord of three strands is not quickly broken. Better is a poor but wise youth than an old but foolish king who no longer knows how to take a warning. For the youth has come from the prison to the kingship, though he was born poor in his own kingdom. I saw that all who lived and walked under the sun followed this second one, the youth who succeeded the king. There is no limit to all the people who were before them, yet the successor will not be celebrated by those who come even later. This too is futile and a pursuit of the wind. Now we're going to read Matthew chapter 1, verse 1 to verse 17. This is the record of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac. Isaac was the father of Jacob, and Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers. Judah was the father of Perez and Zerah by Tamar. Perez the father of Hezron, and Hezron the father of Ram. Ram was the father of Aminadab. Aminadab the father of Nahshon, and Nahshon the father of Salmon. Salmon was the father of Boaz by Rahab. Boaz the father of Obed by Ruth. Obed the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of David the king. Next, David was the father of Solomon by Uriah's wife. Solomon the father of Rehoboam. Rehoboam the father of Abijah, and Abijah the father of Asa. Asa was the father of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat the father of Joram, and Joram the father of Uzziah. Uzziah was the father of Jotham, Jotham the father of Ahaz, and Ahaz the father of Hezekiah. Hezekiah was the father of Manasseh, Manasseh the father of Ammon, Ammon the father of Josiah, and Josiah the father of Jeconiah and his brothers at the time of the exile to Babylon. After the exile to Babylon, Jeconiah was the father of Shealtiel, Shealtiel the father of Zerubbabel, Zerubbabel the father of Abihud, Abihud the father of Eliakim, and Eliakim the father of Azor. Azor was the father of Zadok, Zadok the father of Achim, and Achim the father of Elihud. Elihud was the father of Eleazar, Eleazar the father of Mathan, Mathan the father of Jacob, and Jacob the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. In all, then, there were 14 generations from Abraham to David, 14 from David to the exile to Babylon, and 14 from the exile to the Christ. Now we're going to read 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 16 to verse 33. I repeat, let no one take me for a fool, but if you do, then receive me as a fool, so that I too may boast a little. In this confident boasting of mine, I am not speaking as the Lord would, but as a fool. Since many are boasting according to the flesh, I too will boast. For you gladly tolerate fools, since you are so wise. In fact, you even put up with anyone who enslaves you, or exploits you, or takes advantage of you, or exalts himself, or strikes you in the face. To my shame, I concede that we were too weak for that. Speaking as a fool, however, I can match what anyone else dares to boast about. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they descendants of Abraham? So am I. Are they servants of Christ? I am speaking like I am out of my mind, but I am so much more. In harder labor, in more imprisonments, in worse beatings, in frequent danger of death. 5 times I received from the Jews the 40 lashes minus 1. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. 3 times I was shipwrecked. I spent a night and a day in the open sea. In my frequent journeys, I have been in danger from rivers and from bandits, in danger from countrymen and from the Gentiles, in danger in the city and in the country, in danger on the sea and among false brothers, in labor and toil and often without sleep, in hunger and thirst and often without food, in cold and exposure. Apart from these external trials, I face daily the pressure of my concern for all the churches. Who is weak and I am not weak? Who is led into sin and I do not burn with grief? If I must boast, I will boast of the things that show my weakness. The God and Father of the Lord Jesus, who is forever worthy of praise, knows that I am not lying. In Damascus, the governor under King Aretas secured the city of the Damascenes in order to arrest me. But I was lowered in a basket through a window in the wall and escaped his grasp. Now we're going to read the book of Psalms, chapter 99, which is our last reading for today. The Lord reigns, let the nations tremble. He is enthroned above the cherubim, let the earth quake. Great is the Lord in Zion, he is exalted above all the peoples. Let them praise your great and awesome name. He is holy, the mighty King loves justice. You have established equity, you have exercised justice and righteousness in Jacob. Exalt the Lord our God and worship at his footstool. He is holy. Moses and Aaron were among his priests. Samuel was among those who called on his name. They called to the Lord and he answered. He spoke to them from the pillar of cloud. They kept his decrees and the statutes he gave them. O Lord our God, you answered them. You were a forgiving God to them, yet an avenger of their misdeeds. Exalt the Lord our God and worship at his holy mountain, for the Lord our God is holy. May the Lord bless the reading and hearing of his word, and may we receive the grace to understand what God is saying to us through these scriptures that we're reading, and to be doers of the word, not hearers and readers only. In Jesus' name, amen.